Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a death metal band from Finland named Kruor. They released their third studio album called Destroyers this year, and this is truly a labor of love. This band is 100% independent, they're not associated with any label, so this album really has been one of those albums that I'm sure the band has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I believe for those of you that are fans of death metal, this is one of those albums worth checking out because I really think it has gone under the radar to a lot of people that are not familiar with this band. And due to the fact that they're independent, they don't get the same exposure as other bands. And perhaps if you're not local to the scene of where they are, you don't even know about these guys. But I really think, based on what I heard from this album, there is enough meat on the bones there. And I really think it's worth taking a check, taking a look, and give them a listen and see what you guys think. I did that. I listened to the album multiple times, and now I want to tell you what I thought about the album. So, Destroyers, third full-length album from these guys, has 8 songs, 42 minutes. I absolutely loved when I saw that. 8 songs, 8 to 10 songs is really what I like to see in my albums. 42 minutes was perfect, and I really found that the 42 minutes in the 8 tracks for this specific band, for this specific sound, for the specificness of the music that these guys give you, I thought that was perfect. It's very aggressive, very strong, very heavy, very old school, but also modern. The first impression that I got listening to these guys is that they gave me a really old school death metal vibe. Overall, the vibe that I got from the band was really old school Obituary. But the more I listened to it, the more I realized that while they had that old school, and I'm going to use Obituary because I really find that if you don't know this band and you really want to compare them with something to get an idea of what to expect, I think early on, like Slowly We Rot, Obituary really fits these guys perfectly in terms of the same style. So the more I listened to it, the more I realized that while they had that old school style to their music, there were some newer components to it. There was some grooviness in the guitars. There was a lot of bass. One of the things I really enjoyed about this album is that the bass is really predominant. Normally with death metal, you not always get a really strong bass that comes through. It's normally a little bit drowned out by the drums, the harsh vocals, and the heavy guitar riffs. In this album, I really felt that the bass was really in the forefront, and they really used the bass a lot to give the music a lot of darkness and ominous to it. So while the guitars in some songs are super heavy and some songs are more groovy, and that's where I found more of a new wave of death metal when I was listening to this album, while it still kept that essence of old school death metal. But what they always did in every single song is they sprinkled the bass in there, and the bass really comes across in a very predominant way. And in some songs more than others, but really they really didn't hide the bass behind all the other instruments. I really like that. I thought that was a cool touch because it really gave the music a lot of darkness and ominous and almost a horror vibe to it. It really added to the sound that you're getting from the drums, the heaviness of the drums and the heaviness of the vocals. So I really thought was really smart the way they did it in adding a lot of that bass into their music. Now, like I said, overall, I think you're going to get a mixture of two worlds. You're going to get a mixture of old school death metal and a lot of more modernized death metal. In some songs, you're going to get a combination of those two worlds into one song. And in some songs, you're going to get more of the old school stuff. And then in some songs, you're going to get more of the newer style of death metal, if you will. But they did a very well job balancing those acts and really balancing those songs and really spacing them out properly throughout those 8 songs in the album, so it doesn't seem like every single song sounds exactly the same. They really gave each song a different dynamic. They really gave each song a different look, and each song has its own life, its own character. So, and then the way they spaced them out and the way they put them, they really gave the album, a really nice fluidity to it that it really allows for the listener to really embark on the journey and go through this album very smoothly. I mean, 8 tracks goes by super fast, so it's going to be one of those easy listening experiences for those of you, especially for those of you that enjoy death metal. I mean, if you don't like death metal, forget about it, but if you're into death metal, then I think you're really going to enjoy the journey that this band will take you through. Now, as far as favorite songs, I think there's 3 songs that I really have to touch on. The first one that I have to mention is the Chant of the Undying, which is the first song of the album. And that was the first song where that bass that I mentioned earlier really comes through. There's a little piece towards the first part of the song where the bass really comes in, and all you can really hear is really the bass setting the tone of the song with a really cool guitar riff attached to it. But the guitar riff is not over dominant. The guitar riff comes and goes, almost like stops and goes, which allows for the bass to really come through and for you to really enjoy that bass setting the tempo of that portion of the song. So to me, that was one of the songs that I had to mention to you guys, because it was the first song of the album, was really the song that introduced me to the band, and it was the first song where that bass was really predominant, and I really enjoyed it. For a death metal song to really have that almost like a bass bridge in the middle of that song, I thought was really cool, really unique, really different, and really added to the ominous, like I said, to the ominous and to the darkness that this band really delivers with every song. Now, another song that I have to mention is the Midst of Desolation. This is a more cool and dynamic song with faster tempos, super cool guitar riffs, a little bit more of newer death metal, if you will, because the guitar riffs in this song are a lot more groovier than they are in some other songs in the album. But I really like the fact that this song almost feels like there's a stop and go motion to it, and it goes through different stages. There's some parts of the song that are more groovy with more groovy guitar riffs, then there's some parts that are more like brutal death metal with blast beats on the drums, super heavy riffs, harsh vocals. So the song really, there's almost 4 different tempos to this song, and 4 different genres of death metal, if you will, almost combined into making one song, which I thought was really different, really cool. They did it really well. Even though there's a stop and go feel to it, the song does not feel like it's chopped up and made of different parts. There's a fluidity to it, and you almost expect that fluidity to give you that stopping with those changes. It really combines well to make the song. So I thought it was different. I thought was unique, different, and cool at the same time. And I really enjoyed that stop and go with the guitars. It really gave the song, it gave the song a different life. It gave the song a different texture. So this is one of those that the moment I heard the song the first time through, and the first time I heard the album through, this song was one of those that immediately stayed in my mind. Like I went back to it and I reheard the song a few times, because it really just offered me something different that you're not going to get from any other song on this album. Then last but not least, At the Gates of Demise is also a song that I have to mention to you guys, because this one feels more like an old school death metal song. This song truly had a little bit of a touch of Obituary slowly rewrought. Like if you told me that this song was inspired by that album and by that style of death metal, I would totally believe you, because I could, as I'm listening to this song, I can hear a lot of stuff from that early Obituary work. So this one is one of those songs on the album where they probably went back into the vault and did something closer to more traditional death metal. Even though the whole album is pretty much a death metal, pure death metal album, there is a lot of old school influences and there's a lot of new school influences. This song specifically has a lot of the old school influences in it, and I really liked it. And I really liked the way they spaced these songs out by giving you songs that had more modernized death metal tones to it and songs that had more old school death metal tones to it. So I really like that balance act, and this is one of those songs that really goes back into the well and really goes back into those older Obituary albums and older death metal style of playing. This is it. This is Destroyers, Kruor, band from Finland. Please let me know in the comment section if you know of this band, if you're planning on checking out this album, and if you have checked out the album, let me know what you think about these guys. I'm really interested to see, especially from really hardcore death metal band fans, guys that really listen to death metal all the time. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about this album. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool, really well put together. And considering that this is an independent album, the sound mixing was actually really well done. I didn't feel like one instrument was really muffling the other. So I really want to hear from you guys. If you have checked out the band, what do you guys think of these guys? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, guys. See you.